Welcome to our third episode of Really Random Podcast. I'm Josue. This is
Abraham.
I'm Junior.
And today we're going to talk about a few different topics, some political, some of experiences of such as getting Ernied, and you'll find out what that is. And lastly, about Ash Ketchum and his new record. So who wants to start this off?
I will say this though. I don't want to start off with the Ash Ketchum thing, but it was mind blowing. I really couldn't believe it.
Yeah, I think
crazy.
I read it and I was a little surprised.
I'm mind blown right now.
Yeah, I don't. All right, let's save it for the end.
We gotta save
that. Okay,
we gotta save that.
Let's talk about politics. I want to start off with something juicy.
Ooh. Yes, go ahead.
So this week was the debate. Was it this week or last week?
It was this week,
right?
Like Thursday, I think.
I don't remember what day it was, but it was the Democratic debate.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple things I want to, talk about that happened in that debate. The first one is Elizabeth Warren.
All right.
Or can we go about who was in the debate? Do you have that list?
Actually, okay, we can go over the top 15 candidates of our Democratic candidates, and then we can
this is for
talk
the 2020
about the
election.
debate. Yeah, for the 2020 election.
And I think they're ranked in order as well too, are they?
Yeah, 15 will be the least popular, and then number 1 would be the most popular.
Okay.
So number 15 is Senator Michael F. Bennett from Colorado. Fortunately, he does not have enough votes to continue on to the next qualifying,
the primary,
to the next debate.
Oh,
number 14, we have from Montana, Governor Steve Bullock, and same situation. They didn't raise enough funds, and they won't make it to the next debate.
Aww.
Number 13, we have former Congressman John Delaney. I don't know anything about John Delaney.
Johnny D, man.
Johnny D.
Don't act like you know.
That's my boy. Johnny D.
My boy Johnny D. All right, number 12, we have Representative Tulsi Gabbard from Hawaii. Number 13, Congress Delaney was from Maryland. Number 11, Tom Steyer. I'm not sure where he's from, but
doesn't matter then.
Doesn't matter. Number 10, Andrew Yang.
He's very interesting.
I like a lot of his policies. He's the doctor?
No, he's the businessman.
Or the businessman.
Oh, businessman.
Yeah. So he said, what does that line say right there? Where he promised to give $1,000 a week to somebody that was watching the debate or something like that.
No, I don't know. Did he?
Yeah.
What? He sounds like
so. He
that
said,
what
does that line say right there? The businessman makes his debt on the. What's it say? I can't read it from here.
Oh, what? His $120,000 giveaway was a gimmick.
Was it? Yeah, I think it was a gimmick, but he said it in the middle of the debate, and everyone went crazy, nuts for it, right? Everybody was eating it up. And
that sounds like a businessman move.
And the debate took place on campus at it was in Houston, but I forgot which college it was. And everyone in the crowd was eating it up, and everybody else that was on stage, all the other people that were debating were just looking at him like, what the heck? You're hecka weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was super funny.
Man, I don't know anything about Andrew Yang.
I like Yang because he has crazy ideas, and that's when I talk about Democrat politicians, I feel like a lot of their ideas are kind of crazy and out of the scope of being realistic.
Yeah.
But Andrew Yang at least always puts plans. Every time I've seen, when I've read articles or seen interviews of him, he always gives you a 3-step or 5-step plan of how to achieve it. And he makes it sound, I don't know, maybe it's because he is a businessman, so he's good at the pitch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It makes it sound like he can get it to happen. He knows how to do it. And I feel out of all, the leftist Democrats, because he is, very far left. He wants Medicare for all. He wants free college. But I feel he's also the most willing to be able, where Republicans are willing to negotiate with him. Because he's a businessman.
Wow.
I think when sorry to interrupt.
But I don't think he has a chance, by the way.
Yeah, I don't think he has a chance either, but I think he was also what people had as an idea when Trump was running for office, because they probably thought, well, he's a businessman too, but Trump turned out to be Trump, so.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You hate him. But anyway.
I don't hate the guy.
Moving on.
Anyways.
Down the list. So apparently you guys do know Andrew Yang. Number 9, we have former Congressman Beto O'Rourke.
I
It's
hate
kind of
that
hard
guy.
to say
Beto O'Rourke.
Spanish names.
That's not Spanish.
in the English. It's not Beto.
No.
Beto.
It's Beto. He's Irish.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the guy that you were talking
Yeah,
about.
I hate that guy.
Why?
Dude, like, he's just so smug when you talk to him, especially when he's talking. He does speak Spanish, right?
Okay.
So when he's speaking, like, in Texas and stuff, where he's from, I think he's, like, El Paso or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's always, like, broken Spanish, right? And, like, that's the worst thing you can do is, like, because I feel when people try to speak broken Spanish to, like, a Mexican crowd, it feels like you're almost belittling them.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Right?
he came out for the debate, and he mentioned everything about El Paso and like the shooting and how he wanted to put like a stop to it, and with like gun reforms and this and that. And yeah, he said a couple of words in Spanish, and because it was in Houston,
Everyone cheered and stuff like that. Yeah.
Spanish
Okay.
population.
But a lot of
crowd.
the, like, if you watch a lot of the people that like him, it's not really like, it's like third, fourth generation people who were born here. Like, we're
Yeah.
all second. No, you're
I'm
you're
zero
illegal.
generation.
You're illegal. But we're like first generation
Yeah.
born here in the States. So it's like, and to me, like, I speak broken Spanish. You guys have heard my Spanish. It's terrible.
Yeah.
And like, I find it like if I'm talking to someone who only speaks Spanish, that's great. But if they know English, I much rather talk in English just because I feel like my Spanish is shameful.
Yeah.
And like, and don't get me wrong, he probably doesn't feel that way. He feels like, oh, I'm making a connection. But I think that act, like, where he feels like he's making a connection with someone because he's speaking Spanish, it's kind of like a smug thing to do.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, it seems like when somebody tries to connect with you, like through a language, through your own native language, like sometimes that can come off, like you said, like it's like either like kind of condescending or like you're trying to belittle them. But at the same time, like when I was thinking of trying to talk in German in Germany, and like people would just say like, no, like don't even try to talk to me in German, like you clearly can't talk. And I'm just like, I just want to try. I just want to be able to try talking German and learn.
That's a little different because you're trying, like, you're trying to learn the language that you're in the country you're at. Where he's just like, oh, I speak Spanish too. Like, look at me. I'm one of you guys kind of attitude. And it's just like, dude, your Spanish is terrible. Like, stop.
But when you really break it down, I mean, he is a politician trying to win over a demographic. So he's going to do what he can in order to try to do that. So regardless of whether some people take it as smug, he's going to do what he can to still branch out to different like ethnic groups and like different, types of people.
Right. And I get that. Like, most politicians, they're liars. That's the thing. Politicians are liars.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just saying that's why I don't like him, is because he has a very smug attitude about him. Like, if it was like in your case where like he felt like he was speaking Spanish to like a person who was Mexican because he was trying to learn, that'd be different.
Okay.
But he's speaking Spanish like, oh, look, I'm one of you guys. There's heck of people here in California. I don't know about Texas. They're probably the same. They're Mexican, but they don't speak a word of Spanish.
Yeah.
And like, I'm pretty sure over there too. And so like, that's even worse when someone comes up to you and like they try to talk Spanish. Like, dude, I speak perfect English. Like, why do we have to talk in Spanish? Like, unless they like, oh, hey, I'm trying to learn, Spanish. Will you help me? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. But it's different when they're like kind of being condescending. Like, let me get to your level kind of thing and talk Spanish to you.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I'm not saying that's what he's doing, because I don't know. I'm just saying that's how I feel when people like him talk Spanish.
Because I was about to ask you, like, how do you know that's what he's doing? And I guess
it's kind of hard to like. It's hard to understand like the motives of like.
He could be completely genuine.
Yeah, he could be like, you know what, like I don't know that a lot of Spanish, but I want to like at least throw a few words out there. Like, hey, like, I know a few words. But you're right. It could be like, oh, I'm just trying to connect with you to get the vote, and I can care less.
Yeah, and it goes back to like what Abraham says, that he was playing to the crowd, where he knew he was in Houston. He knew, if I throw these Spanish words,
they're gonna eat.
I'm gonna get a reaction.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah, and like Mexicans are gonna think I'm one of them. I was like, Jesus, man.
And also too, it's a democratic debate. I guess like the newer, generation of people coming up to vote, like the 18, 19-year-olds, they kind of lean more towards the Democratic side anyways. Yeah. You know what I mean? So he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, that's what, and I think that's what makes him even more condescending, because he does play to that crowd, like the younger, like 18 to 22-year-olds. Yeah. So like when he speaks Spanish, I kind of feel like he does it like, hey, I speak the same language as your grandma.
Hey, eat out.
Vote for me. I'm like your grandma. Like,
abuelita. Eat out over here.
I'm your abuelita. And like, that's why I hate that guy.
Wow. So
I don't know him like personally, so I don't.
I wouldn't be surprised if he starts calling himself then Beto, because I thought it was Beto.
Don Beto.
I think he does
O'Rourke.
actually call himself Beto O'Rourke.
Oh, he does.
Yeah, it's the Beto
He needs to
O'Rourke.
start calling
It's
himself.
like Beto O'Rourke is what his actual name is.
Yeah, because that was.
I
like,
think
the
he
last
was like
name.
adopted by like some ranchers. I don't know his backstory. I remember someone saying that, but then I think I looked it up and it wasn't true. I don't know though.
Yeah.
He needs to call himself Don Beto or Don
Don
Beto
Beto
O'Rourke.
O'Rourke. I'd totally vote for that guy.
Don Beto. Dude, I would. Yeah, that's my
Don
vote right
Beto.
there.
That's a boss move.
Don Beto.
All right, who's next?
Next, number 8, we have Senator Amy, Klobuchar.
I don't know her.
From Minnesota.
Yeah.
Does any?
Amy
I
K.
guess. Oh,
Amy
she has
K.
like
Amy
she's the one
K.
that does jokes. I think
Oh,
that's
she's like the
jokes.
former comedian, but like she wasn't even a
Something.
good comedian.
it's
I
kind
know
of
that-
rough. Like when you're trying
She
to run
wasn't
for
even a good
president, like
comedian.
I'm gonna throw some jokes out there, and we're just gonna laugh our way through the presidency. Like, no, you can't possibly
Yeah.
be joking like the whole time.
Cricket.
'Cause that's like why, and that's why they give so much trash to Trump, like Democrats, is because that guy's a joke. It's like you guys are just elected a comedian.
Yeah.
Yeah, because before in like I don't know if it was Minnesota, but one of those northern states they elected like a former comedian. He was like comedian,
Yeah.
and like I remember they impeached him or anything, or he gave up his seat because like a picture from like the 80s or the early 90s came out where he was like on a plane. And there was like a female, and he was like, oh, like pretending to grab her boobs and stuff. Like it was a joke picture, but you know, like because that came out, like they're like, oh, he doesn't respect women, and it's like this dude was like hecka fighting for like women's rights and everything. It's
Yeah.
like, but you know, whatever. So it's just, and like that's why I'm like, I was like, I don't get why people like. I get you can be a comedian and also have like a political agenda,
Yeah.
but it's just like you can't expect me to take you serious. If Dave Chappelle ran for the Republican Party, he'd
Oh,
probably
my
get a lot
goodness.
of votes, but he would not be taken seriously because he's Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. Remember
people
it?
didn't
Well,
take
that's
Trump
how that
seriously.
last presidency was. The race. We had like so many people running for president. Remember, like
Yeah.
I think even wasn't Drake even.
No,
Or who
Kanye
else?
said he
Kanye.
was gonna run, but
Harambe.
He didn't actually do it.
Got on
Harambe
the
got
polls.
on the polls. Yeah, man, the elections are just nothing but memes, to be honest.
Yeah,
I would.
Right.
I'm just throwing this out there. I would totally vote for Dave Chappelle.
you would.
Yeah,
I
I would
would.
too,
I
but not
would.
because I think he's a serious guy, just
Yeah,
because I
just-
think it'd be funny. That's why so many like Harambe got like 3,500 votes.
Yeah.
like he got votes.
got-
He got votes.
He was
People
up there,
had hope
dude.
for him. Rest in peace, Harambe.
God, I miss Harambe.
All right, number 7. Wow, this is a super long name. Former Housing and Urban Development Secretary Julian Castro. Okay, maybe this guy is actually Julian.
JC.
He's Cuban. Where is he from? Is he from Florida? Is that the guy from Florida or California?
I don't know where he's from actually.
I don't know. All I know is that
I don't think he's Mexican. I think he's like Cuban or Puerto Rican. I'm not sure though. Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But I hate that guy too.
He came out just attacking Joe Biden.
Yeah, he was like
Dude.
straight up. I
Oh,
hate
really?
you, Joe Biden.
Guns
Oh, wow.
blazing Joe
Yeah,
Biden. Dude.
and, like-
I was like, what the heck? Is
And
this
Joe
fool's
Biden and him
problem?
worked together. And I remember because they even brought up. It was Fox. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but they brought up, which is weird because Fox was hecka defending Joe Biden like after the debate.
Oh wow.
They're like, oh, why are these guys attacking Joe Biden? That's not cool. Like, it's like,
Yeah.
why do you guys care about Joe Biden? But anyways, they were talking about like there's times where he was interviewed and like back when he was working under the Obama administration, Julian Castro, and like he was like talking, he was praising like Obama and Joe Biden, and you know like. And then all of a sudden, like, you hate the guy? Like, how does that work?
Dude, yeah, I noticed that.
Wow.
Did you notice that everyone was like singing praise of Obama? Like what a great,
What a great president
term
he
he
was.
was,
We
and
should
this
go
and
back
that.
to those days. And
They-
then people would clap, of course.
I
'cause,
thought
you
they
know,
were talking about
Yeah.
Tony Stark or something,
Yeah.
or like.
And
you
then
know, I was
like,
what
but then like the
heck?
very next statement they had was, Joe Biden, you suck. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
They
That's
would,
like contradictory.
They would start off like all like their because they get 40 seconds on the clock to say whatever they want, and they would all start off by saying, I just first want to start off by saying what an amazing job President Obama did and his administration, and I can only hope to aspire to achieve something close to that level. But Joe Biden, you suck. And like it was like what? I was like, what, dude? He was in that party, you know?
Yeah,
what I mean?
he
So-
literally was right there.
It is super weird, but yeah,
You know-
he was like Julian Castro was the main guy that did that. It was, if you have time, go back and look at the debate. It's funny.
That's a weird way of like attacking somebody, because you're telling them like, hey, you know, the person you worked with, amazing, but you
Suck.
suck. Yeah, I don't like you. Like, that's pretty crazy.
And like, I guess it's, when you put it that way, it's not too crazy because you have like where like you like your boss, but you hate like their assistant manager or whatever.
Yeah,
Because that's basically what Joe Biden is. But I'm just saying you can't say that era was great and then like not and then be like, Joe Biden, you completely are a failure. Like, you gotta like, maybe you don't like the guy or something.
Yeah,
But he wasn't. I mean, he didn't really do anything. He was vice president. Like, what do you expect him to be?
Another thing they got on him about too was his age. Him and
Yeah, but
what's
Bernie
the other-
Sanders
Bernie
is still in the race.
Yeah, I know, but like everyone was like everyone that wasn't those two guys were talking about their age.
Elizabeth Warren is like 100.
Yeah, I know, but still, she was still talking about
you're too old.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was like, what the heck?
You're too old, and then her teeth slipped out of her mouth. No,
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
all right.
Okay, who's after that?
Number 6, and this is the first time I've actually seen the name written down. I've only ever heard it through like online or through the radio, and so it's South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Buttigieg.
Yeah.
The only things I know from him is, like you said, it's just like they always bring him up, but they never really talk about him.
Yeah.
Because I feel he is like very much middle of the pack kind of guy. But from what I have heard about him, he seems he seems like he's still part of the left wing Democrats, but he's not as far gone as some of the other ones.
Yeah.
And I was just gonna say I know absolutely nothing about him.
Oh yeah, like from everything I've heard, like through other podcasts or like interviews on YouTube or reading articles on Reddit, like a lot of people seem to like him because he's more likable. Like, he has a lot of the crazy ideas that like Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders,
Yeah.
Beto O'Rourke have, but like he's not an a-hole about them.
Wasn't he?
And when we get to Bernie Sanders and then Elizabeth Warren, I'll talk about what I mean about that.
Wasn't he the guy though it made it clear that he was trying to get like the ethnic and like the ethnic vote from the United States?
Probably, but
I don't know. I just know that he's like he's 37 years old. Like,
He's
that's
like
really young and for like a president.
Yeah, I think he was trying to get the minority vote.
Hey, it
And I
works for
think that's what he
JFK.
catered- yeah, I think that's what he catered to during the debate. But I know I have to go back and watch it again.
I mean,
Alright.
JFK had the white people vote too, but he did go to a lot like the poor places and got a lot of those votes too.
Cool. Number
All
5.
right, number 5, we got Senator Cory Booker from New Jersey.
I actually like Cory Booker.
This guy's an a-hole though.
I
think I like his Twitter feed more than anything. But you see,
Yeah.
that's my problem with him too. He seems like he'd be on Twitter all the time, like Donald Trump. That's my problem with Cory Booker. And like, there's some things. Okay, I used to like Cory Booker, and what made me really like, not really hate him, but like what made me get off the Cory Booker train was the Jussie Smollett incident.
What's
I
that?
don't even know what that is. What is that?
So-
I really like him just because he's really well educated. I think he has like
Well, obviously not, because look, so during
he has like 3
Jussie
or, like,
Smollett
4
was the
different-
actor for Empire. He's like he's gay, I think, and like supposedly he was attacked on like February of this year.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right, and then it turned out to be fake.
Yeah.
Cory Booker was like one of his staunch defenders, and he was talking about how all these people who are saying it, like we should wait until like the evidence comes in or whatever. They're a-holes and they're idiots and stuff like that. And like, he was super defending Jussie Smollett. And then when it turned out that that it was like there's a high chance that it's fake, because still officially we don't know what the actual word on that case is.
Yeah.
Like, he just went silent about the case. Like, he didn't say nothing for like 2 weeks on Twitter until Donald Trump said something. Then he went off on Donald Trump again. And like, I was like, dude, you can't do that. Like, it's okay if you're wrong. Admit you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because then you just become Donald Trump. And that's what he is. He's Black Donald Trump.
So he's
I don't know. Kind of,
He
but
is.
not really.
He's just the left version of Donald Trump. Because he hates on white people and cops all the time. Like, he says he won't, but if you look at his... I follow his Twitter because I find his Twitter hilarious. And
I
like,
don't
he's
follow his
constantly talking about... Like, whenever time there's a school shooter or a mass shooter, they're always white.
Yeah.
He always just trashes on white people in general.
He's one of those then.
He's one of those guys.
Okay.
And like, don't get me wrong,
Scratch it,
white
never
people
mind.
are crazy, but I mean, like, like, you still can't be like, all white people suck.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah.
Oh,
never
okay.
mind.
So I
Screw this
could
guy.
see
I
that
don't
he
like
is
him anymore.
actually a big Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, literally 3 hours ago he posted something, then 5 hours ago, and then 8 hours ago. So like,
Yeah, he's big on Twitter.
Damn.
And like, like, that's smart for a lot of politicians. I think that's why a lot of people hate Donald Trump, but Donald Trump was smart to get on Twitter and use Twitter like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because realistically, you have to use social media nowadays.
Yeah.
It's like during Obama and McCain, and during Obama and Mitt Romney, they were going on like talk shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And before they never really used to do that, but it's like, so you have to do that nowadays, and now even more, you have to get on social media. And like I know like you have a problem with Donald Trump being on Twitter all the time, but I think the next presidents, they're all gonna be, except for Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders doesn't know what he's doing. No, but I think Bernie Sanders will hire people to
Yeah,
on his
he'll-
Twitter. Like
he'd have
right now,
someone.
because he has a Twitter right now.
It's
I mean, he went on Joe Rogan, so he knows.
That's true. That was the worst Joe Rogan podcast.
Was
in
it
the world.
really?
Yeah, he
I
was
didn't see
so
that one.
boring. Joe Rogan was. Bernie Sanders was boring because Bernie Sanders is old, but Joe Rogan like didn't want to like not attack him, but he didn't want to ask him hard questions. Like you could tell Bernie Sanders was like, yeah, I'll be on your podcast, but these are the questions you have to ask me.
and we're only going to talk about this. I didn't. I saw like snippets of it. I didn't see the whole thing.
No, I
Oh,
saw
okay.
snippets and then I saw the whole thing because I want to know if like it got good anytime. And that was the main complaint, was like they were like, dude, Joe, like, which is fine because Joe Rogan did it for the exposure, you know, like, and he also wanted to do it because he didn't want to seem like, because he has a lot of like right wing guests on his shows, or like Republican based,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and he didn't want to feel like a lot of people
Just a
complain about
Republican.
that on the Joe Rogan podcast. And he's like, no, I'll get like left people in too. But you could
Oh,
tell
okay.
it was very much like scripted.
Yeah. Oh, right. And I guess the previous ranking for Senator Cory Booker was number 4. So he went up to number 5. So I guess he's
So he
losing
fell.
popularity. Just so everyone knows that the rankings that I'm getting are from the Washington Post. So obviously,
Take
we
it
have
as
to,
you will.
Yeah, take it as you will. But I mean, it gives us a pretty good indication of like where all the Democrat candidates are at.
Oh, here we go.
Number 4. Here we go. Senator Kamala D. Harris from California.
Kamala D.
She sucks. I hate her.
You hate everyone, dude.
So far, you haven't liked
No,
anyone.
You
I
haven't liked a single
I like
person.
Yang.
Mr.
And like
Yang.
Pete, I don't know how to say his last name.
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg. I think he's okay.
Okay, but like you have to like someone that's gonna realistically have a chance.
Oh, I do like someone that realistically has it. We just haven't got to him.
Yeah, we're on number 4 right now, so you gotta wait
And
a little bit.
I know what
Okay.
number he is, but like I don't like Kamala Harris because she's the exact same as Cory Booker to me, except she doesn't get on Twitter as much.
Yeah.
And then it turns out like everyone thinks she's black, but I guess I read online, so I don't know if this is true or not because I didn't fact check it.
Take it with.
But
a
she's
pinch
actually like
salt.
she's like half black, half Indian,
Oh,
right?
Okay.
And like it turns out that her family came to Jamaica like years and years, like generations ago,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like slave traders.
Wow.
Okay, that's the big claim.
Yeah.
I don't know what
I-
resource
Whoa,
or source.
dude.
Like I said, it was on.
Breaking news.
But you know what? It was on Reddit, and Reddit's very left leaning. So that's why I didn't check what website it came from, but it wasn't The Onion. I know that for a fact. That's the one thing I do check whenever I see like a crazy statement like that.
Yeah,
I always check if it was The Onion or not.
yeah. If it's the Onion, you already know that it's way.
And you know
off.
what? It was on Black People Twitter, so like, which is a Reddit channel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it was like black people were talking about this.
Oh,
obviously.
wow.
The African American community was.
And
Oh, she's from Oakland.
Yeah, she's from Oakland.
Oaktown.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Just
I
because
don't
you're
know.
from Oakland don't mean nothing, all right?
He's not even from Oakland. He's from Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally
San
said that
Ho.
earlier in the podcast.
All right.
All right,
So
I don't know
that's
if you
it.
guys have
On
anything to
anything
say
else
about
on Kamala? Is it
Anything
Kamala?
on Kamala? No, I think she's a very lovely lady. Yeah.
you know what?
They had
I
her-
will say this for being like older, she's not ugly.
Yeah, yeah. That's,
She's not
that's what I
ugly.
meant. I was like,
I don't know if they show her picture. I mean,
Uh,
she's not like
pull up the pictures,
gorgeous,
bro. Yeah, no, she's not. But like, if,
but compared to other politicians, she's not ugly.
Mhm.
She's
Bernie
just a total B.
Bernie Sanders.
Oh, that guy's handsome. No, I'm just kidding. That guy looks like the Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Previous ranking, she was number 2, and then she moved up to number 4.
Yeah.
So now number 3. Here we go. Former Vice President Joe Biden.
That's if I were to vote between Trump and one of the Democrat top 5,
I'd
it'd be
pick
Joe Biden.
I'd pick Biden too.
I
to be
think I would
honest.
pick Biden too.
Well, I don't know.
And let me tell you why
No.
I'd pick Biden.
I do. Yeah, never mind.
I'd pick Biden because what you said before the podcast when we were running this idea of going through the Democrats. It was because he's the most centralist
Yeah.
of all the left wingers. Because his ideas are still not like classic Democrat ideas, but because he wants Medicare for all, he wants to basically do a lot of the stuff Obama did, And as much as I didn't like Obama because of other things, his ideas weren't crazy either. Like Bernie Sanders crazy or Elizabeth Warren super crazy.
Yeah.
And he's not a douche about it. He knows he's a politician, and he's fine with being a politician.
You could tell he's a politician.
Yeah.
Like the way he carries himself.
But there's a lot of them that like are career-long politicians, and they're like very like politician-esque. Like they're like sneaky and stuff like that. But you know, like people don't want to see it, I guess. And like I'm talking about like Elizabeth Warren and even Bernie Sanders. They're very like rat-like politicians. I know, like I can't find a better word. Or like snaky. You know, they're very like, ugh, I'm gonna betray you when I get a chance, kind of politicians. Yeah. But they like masquerade. It's like a wolf in sheep's clothing. I feel both of them are like that because they have both done like shady stuff, and people refuse to address it.
Yeah,
so I'll get to their shadiness later on.
It seems like we've kind of created like a much bigger, like either left wing or right wing. Whether now there's even within the left wing, people are like
they're divided. And it's the same thing with the right wing. Like the Republican and like in the Republican Party, there's the centralist Republicans who are like your normal Republicans, and then there's your right wing, like everything Republican or nothing at all.
Yeah.
You know. And it's the same thing with the Democratic Party. You're either a centralist, classic Democrat, or you're like left wing, like free everything. We should basically be communists.
Yeah, dude, the debate, they were getting at each other's throats. It kind of left me with the whole mentality of like, it's just like, geez, like these are all in the same party. You would think that this was like a Republican Democrat debate. You know what I mean? It was insane. And like at some points where I was just like, dude, really?
Yeah, and that's why they want. Like a lot of Democrats want a lot of these. From what I was reading, a lot of Democrats want like voters want a lot of people to fall off now. They basically want the top 4 or top 5. I don't remember what it was they were asking for, because they feel like if you get like the top 10 or even the top 8, it's still a lot of bickering.
Yeah,
and you're still dividing the vote. So by the time the main election comes, you have less people on other people's sides, and like, well, I'm gonna vote for the other guy because I didn't even want this Democrat representative.
That actually makes sense. Yeah.
And like so right now they're asking for a lot of people, and like this is the thing like I brought up earlier is like I don't get why people are attacking Joe Biden so much. Like it's like we said, he was in the Obama administration. Like that guy was well loved. That guy was well liked. And like, but right now everybody hates him. Like the other day, I'm not sure if it was the Washington Post or CNN or. It was one of those like super left-leaning like news sources, even though they're not supposed to be, you know, biased or whatever. They're, you know, a lot of them are biased. Like Fox is heavy Republican. And like I'm not sure who it was, and it might have been an opinion piece, so that makes a little bit of a difference. But still, they were like, Joe Biden just drop out and die already. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, like. Why?
Dang! Oh my gosh!
Like, it's like, oh, you're a disgrace to the party and all this stuff. It's like, what did he do? That's why, like, I don't get what he did wrong. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like one thing, and like, okay, so one of the big things out of the Obama administration that came out after, you know, like Obama administration, like I said, it wasn't the best. A lot of people swear it was, but he's the one that started the separation of families, and he also killed a lot of innocent civilians in Syria with his drone strikes. You know, but a lot of people forget that. However, when they don't forget it is when they're attacking Joe Biden. How could you let all this happen? Obama, you're the best, but Joe Biden, you killed all those people. It's like, why?
You know what's crazy is that like the ideas that Obama had before, I feel like they were looked at as like way more left leaning, and now like those ideas are almost like towards the center. And then like things like Bernie Sanders, people like Bernie Sanders or the Elizabeth Warren, where they're completely like, you know what? Let's just go ahead and go all out. We're just gonna give everything to everybody.
And you know, and it's something I should talk about it when Bernie Sanders comes up. But something I always feel about Bernie Sanders, because you were talking about that, is that I feel like he doesn't even want to really win. I feel he's just like, well, if I just say I'm for all this stuff that all these people want, I'm gonna look good no matter what. You know, so it's like when it's my turn to vote, because I think he's like a senator or a representative or whatever, they're gonna vote for me. Because remember when he was running for president, he wanted all these good things. Like I don't really think he cares if he wins or not.
You know, that's actually a pretty, like, I never thought about that, but it's true that I mean, all these people are like senators and like either
they're all politicians.
yeah, they're all politicians, or some of them don't act like it. But at the end of the day, maybe he's just like, you're right. Like, you know what? I'm just gonna go crazy, and like
people are gonna remember me.
no one's gonna vote for
Yeah.
me. No one's gonna vote for this stuff. Maybe like 20 people are gonna vote for this, but at least, you know, like I gave it, and I have a little exposure, and like
Well,
you're right, I can get voted again for. I don't know how the senator
I think it's every 6
system
years.
works.
One of either the House or the Senate is every 6 years. One of them's every. That's why we always have that weird like voting like off.
Oh yeah,
Like from when the president stuff gets voted, because one of them gets voted around the same time the president always gets voted, and then one of them is like randomly in between.
Mm-hmm.
didn't it just happen?
Yeah, last year.
Last
November. So yeah, so 2020 would be the president. It's like 2 years in between.
Yeah.
But the reason like a lot of people do that and like they say it is because a lot of them are either starting off as politicians. Like Andrew Yang, he's not a politician; he's a businessman.
Yeah.
So now that he has exposure from running for, because like to run for president, you just need money basically. You don't really need anything. But to run like for like a House seat or like a Senate seat, you need like a little bit of like politics background. So now if Andrew Yang wanted to run for Senate or for the House, he has like that like I don't want to say exposure. Exposure because he ran for president. And I feel like a lot of like the guys that are in the back, like Beto O'Rourke or even Pete. I'm never gonna say that last name correctly, so I'm never gonna try. I feel a lot of them are just setting up for president runs later down the road, like in 8 years, 2028. Like because by then they're like a well-known name. Like, oh yeah, he's been running for a while. Like he never wins because there's always someone better, but he's there. He has the exposure.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
So anything else on Joe Biden? I think that fairly covers it.
Yeah.
Number 2, we got now here we go. Senator Bernie Sanders.
Oh, all right. So this is my problem with Bernie Sanders. His policies, like I said, they're kind of like Pete or even Andrew Yang. Whoops. They're crazy, but I think what makes them real crazy is how he wants to do them. Like his approach to getting those like free medical or free education is just very like non-realistic. As much as it sounds good, especially when you're like poor, like, oh, we're just gonna take the money from the rich and give it to you guys. That sounds great, but that's also not fair.
Yeah.
As much as I hate rich people, like it's not fair to just take all their money just because.
What was his point of view? Because I know everyone was attacking him for the whole Medicare for all thing. Because I think everyone was saying, all the other debaters were saying that he wants Medicare for all, but then that would also get rid of the private insurances that people have. Like, so for instance, like if you get insurance through your, like me, I have Kaiser, right? Through my employer. That would no longer be valid. I would have to get Medicare for all.
You would have to get Medicare, basically. So what it is, it's basically what Bernie Sanders wants to do is he wants to get rid of the private sector for insurance. Well, medical insurance at least. So like right now, you pay a little bit, and depending on how much you pay is like your premium. Not just that, but it's also how much like how specialized you can get, right?
Yeah.
Like, so if you pay a lot, that means when you ever go to your hospital, you're gonna get the best care, basically, because you're paying for that best care. It's like the same thing with any other type of insurance. Basically, Bernie Sanders wants to get rid of all that, so everyone has the same. You get the same help as everybody else.
Yeah, that's like a very socialist
way of thinking, and that's a lot of his plans are very socialist, which I think is very hard to do. Not only because you're losing a lot of jobs by getting rid of the private sector for insurance. Not just that, but it's like, say I go in, right? I pay my taxes all the time. Every check, I get a big chunk of taxes taken out.
I never pay my taxes.
I know, no, but anyway,
they will get it.
But right before I get into that door, someone else, a homeless guy gets in, right? Yeah. Sure, that homeless guy should get taken care of, but why should he get like the same treatment I get when I pay my taxes? He doesn't even have a job.
Yeah, good point. Very, very good point.
Like, and it sounds messed up, and that's the problem that a lot of like Republican like people who like try to fight against Bernie Sanders have, is that Sanders' idea sounds great.
Yeah.
Free medical, the same medical across the board for everybody. And it sounds great, but why is that fair?
Mm-hmm.
It's true. I mean, I guess you're right.
Like if you're working and you're paying taxes, or you're going to school so you can't work, because I know like when you were going to school you weren't really working. Like, that's different because you're eventually going to start paying taxes. Why should I get the same treatment someone who doesn't pay taxes at all get? Like, how is that fair?
True, because you're technically working for those. But I think they were also saying that with some private sectors and some private insurances, they were still going to exist. But I think Medicare for all was like the big thing they were trying to push, but they couldn't ultimately make people sign up for it.
No, and that's the problem. You see, Bernie Sanders wants that socialist medical, where it's like everyone has this. Yeah. While a lot of the other people like Pete or even like Joe Biden, they want more affordable healthcare and free healthcare for like the lower classes. Mm-hmm. But if you still want that premium, you still can pay for that premium.
Yeah, there should be like tiers, definitely. Like you said, like you should have different tiers of like, if you can't completely, I would say like if you can't completely afford Medicare for whatever reason, whatever situation you're in, you should get at least like the basic, like for me, like a basic like plan, like it and then. Yeah. But then you get like different tiers, obviously, like when you're able to like pay the premium and pay the, then you're obviously going to get like Kaiser and you're going to get like all these like nice amenities that I'm yet to see. The only amenities I ever saw was in the military. Those doctors were, I mean, it was all right. But out here, it's, I was able to go to the, what is it called? Like the Sacramento Native Clinic or something, Native American downtown? Clinic. Yeah, that's downtown. So at first when I got there, I was like, I'm not Native American, but is it okay for me to be here or what? And they're like, nah, yeah, this is for everybody. This is just a name now. Yeah. I was like, okay.
That's funny.
But I think that it is hard to, it's like you said, in theory, it sounds great that everybody has like the same Medicare or the same kind of like, I guess, yeah, Medicare. But in reality, it's really hard because now you're putting a lot of burden on the people that are like working. And unfortunately, a lot of this stuff goes to like the middle class, the working middle class that gets like the taxes, that gets like hit on every left, right side. And now you make it harder for them to be able to afford their own Medicare and their own insurances. Because, I mean, we're paying like so many different bills these days. You're paying insurance, you're paying your health insurance, your car insurance, you're paying your little Spotify or whatever. It's pretty interesting that we went from, I was just thinking of the bunch of microtransactions that we do nowadays versus before we would do like huge purchases. But now everything's like microtransactions. Mm-hmm. But anyway,
I was just gonna say, going back to Junior's point, like he's definitely right too, because it really isn't fair. And like even now, it's to a point it's not fair because like for instance, me, I work full time and I go to school full time, which is kind of a heavy load to take on. Yeah. But I don't know how I'm doing it, but I'm kind of doing it. And so for me to still have to like kill myself and then still go to school, and then if I have to go to the hospital or to the doctor and anything like that, I'm working for that privilege, you know what I mean? So I don't know why, like he said, the dude over here that doesn't have a job gets the same treatment that I do when I'm working for that, you know what I mean? And so I don't know how Bernie's going to push it, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be hard just because, like I said, I feel like it's going to affect a lot of the middle class if like the ideas that he has. So, and the middle class is like the biggest chunk of the population, or at least I think it's like one of the bigger chunks. But it seems like really hard for you to pass those kinds of propositions through. So like you said, it might just be for him to like have a little bit more exposure. But he does raise money. That guy raises money like.
Yeah, and I think that's really what it is to him. And I'll tell you why. And remember earlier I was saying that him and Elizabeth Warren are very like snaky type people, like they're very politicians. And one of the reasons I haven't followed up on this story, so I don't remember if like anything's been updated on this story. But him and his wife started this free school, like it's a college. It was a really nice college in Vermont where he's from, and they had all these people like submit an application to see if you could get in, because it was free, completely free. You just had to submit an application, and of course you can only have a certain amount of people, at your school before like fire safety and all that. So basically it was like a lottery. If you got accepted, great. So they all went, and then they had all these people, because they had all these donors, like big rich Democrats paying, basically. That's how it was which is how in his country, that's how it would run. You'd have the rich paying for other people to get educated, because then those people get educated and they become the rich as well, and they start contributing, which sounds great. What happened was they found out it didn't work. And so the school closed down like halfway through the first semester.
Oh, man.
And like those kids, it was too late to join another school. Jeez. And the problem was that school hadn't been officially accredited. So those credits didn't go nowhere. Like it was in the process of being accredited. And supposedly by the end of the first semester, it was supposed to be 100% accredited. So if you didn't like it after that first semester, those credits would still roll over to whatever school you went to. But since it closed down before it got to it,
wow.
And that's the problem was that
so mad.
The problem with the United States and a lot of this like free like social like healthcare and social everything is that we have too many people and not enough rich people. Like if you look at Canada or you look at Sweden, they have not like Canada is huge. Their population is small compared to the United States.
Yeah.
Sweden is huge, tiny. I mean, and their population isn't that big, and a lot of they have a lot more above the 50% percentile than below the 50 percentile. So for
Canada has 37 million people, which is
not a lot.
Nope.
Not a lot
for a country that size.
For the whole country, yeah.
What the heck? I didn't know that.
37 million. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of it is like
wild. It's wilderness.
United States 327 million people.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. We have like a lot more than them.
Yeah.
And you see, and that's why like that mentality of like free everything for like the less fortunate, it doesn't really work. And it's true, they say like if you have more educated people, you have more people in the workforce, therefore you would have more money to going around. But unfortunately, some people don't like school and some people don't want to go to school.
Look at Sweden, almost 10 million people. Like you're right, you can't really it's easy for us to be like, oh, like the Swedish economy and like
the Canadian economy,
got free healthcare,
like
and
for us, like in as far as the United States, it's like a micro economy almost, because like we're just like a bunch of more people, so there's no way you can do the same things that you do.
What's the biggest population in a city or a county? A county would probably be better
for the U.S.
For the U.S., yeah. I just want to see, because I feel like some of our countries or some of our cities are close to 1 million, if not way past it.
Oh yeah. We have.
Let's see, hold on.
Give me 1 second. We have New York is number 1 with an estimate of 8 million, 8.3 million, or almost 8.4 million.
That's basically the equivalent of Sweden. That's New York.
New York literally almost has the population.
Los Angeles is like at close to 4, which is like almost half the population of Sweden. In 2 of our cities, we have more people in Sweden.
Yeah.
And they expect this to work? Like, that's what I'm saying. I was like, dude, you guys are crazy.
Chicago's number 3, and then if you put Chicago into that mix, that already beats Sweden.
Well, just LA and New York alone beat Sweden.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, they do.
Yeah. What was Canada? Oh, it was 37, right?
Yeah.
Wow. That's yeah. It's really hard to just kind of get your economy to that level.
Number 5.
Who?
Followed by Phoenix. A lot of old people went over there after they retired.
What the heck?
1.6 million.
Like a random Phoenix?
Yeah, actually, I never would have guessed Phoenix.
Yeah.
San Diego's.
Where's San Jose?
San Jose is number 10.
With number a little 10. Over 1 million.
A little over 1 million.
San Francisco's only number 15.
Yeah, there's more people in San Jose. But anyway, yeah.
Before we start doing that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it doesn't really work, and ever since that situation with Bernie Sanders and his school closing down, and then they never addressed it. That was the worst part. Bernie Sanders never spoke about it ever again. His wife never spoke about it ever again. He also owns like 10 estates in Vermont. I'm not sure if it's still 10. It's a lot. And like they're like big estates. They're not like that little just looks houses.
Bad for him.
Yeah, and it's just like this dude has made money off his, being a politician. Don't think he hasn't. Don't think he's like Jesus reborn, which I feel like a lot of politicians do.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah.
He has 3. Well, he has 3 houses.
3 are left.
So I guess, yeah, I mean, it's hard
that's to. Still, why does that old guy need 3 houses?
Exactly. You don't need 3 houses.
You don't.
So that's according to the Washington Examiner.
It's still.
I mean,
But
yeah, I'm trying to get like just a studio.
I'm trying to get an apartment. I'm trying to move out finally.
Yeah.
No, but and like that's what I'm saying. Like people act like this dude is all hot. Like he's like this noble guy. He has everyone's best
He's
interest.
really not.
I'm pretty sure those houses aren't cheap either. His houses are probably like
No, I'm sure.
prime real estate. He can easily get rid of 2 of them and give that money to some cause, but he won't because at the bottom line, he's a politician.
Yep.
He's just as snaky as everybody else.
If you had 3 homes, would you give one up?
No, because I'm not a politician. I don't care about other people.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're campaigning,
Yeah,
saying
like,
like,
if I'm
"Hey, I'm gonna give everything
Yeah.
to everybody," and then you all of a sudden have like
3 homes.
Yeah, you can't have like
You're the
3
exact
lavish
that's
homes.
why I feel he doesn't really care if he wins or not.
Okay.
He's like, hey,
yeah.
whatever, after this campaign's done, I get another house.
Yeah, every interview I've seen with him, he always looks just so uninterested.
Yeah.
He's like on autopilot almost.
Did you guys see the Reddit?
Ask me anything.
No, it was but it was Bernie Sanders like raising money or something like that.
Oh yeah, on Twitch, but it was like
Or it was
he
through Twitter?
streaming.
What was
it
he
was
raising
through
money
Twitch.
for?
Oh, okay, through Twitch.
For the campaign.
Man, Bernie
Oh.
Sanders on Twitch too.
Yeah, like
No,
I
Bernie
said,
Sanders.
there's a lot of young people that like him. So they're like he surrounds himself with young people.
What was his campaign slogan last time? Feel the burn.
And I think that's this time. That's not his campaign.
Yeah, I
slogan.
think
that's
someone-
just like people like
Oh,
say
just
that.
people
That's
just
just like
saying that,
war
feel the
cry,
burn,
basically.
Yeah, I
okay.
think I've seen a few stickers around
Feel the
already
burn
for
for
Bernie.
Sacramento?
Feel the burn, and then like just Bernie 2020 or whatever. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't know Bernie was on Twitch. That dude's over there gaming,
No,
playing
that-
Halo.
It's like a bunch of Ask Me Anythings. It's about like it's on talk shows and something else because there's subcategories for Twitch.
Oh, okay.
His subcategory is always like talk shows. I'm not sure if it's Twitch. I think I just did live streaming actually. Now that I think about it, like it could have been on YouTube or something.
Yeah, Bernie's very trendy, like in that sense about like
Yeah.
kind of like branching out to like
Yeah,
the
but you
younger
see, that's not
audience and
something
stuff.
where it's like a politician his age, like Joe Biden or something like that. They wouldn't have that thought because they're not of that mindset. That's what makes me believe like that just means Bernie Sanders is even more. How can I get more voters? How can I get more money from these young people?
I need to get another
Twitch.
house.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need my 4th house.
I need a 4th and 5th.
You know what?
house in
I have
Vermont.
enough houses. I need an island this time.
Need to buy myself. I wonder
hate
how
that
easy.
guy.
How much does an island cost? Anyway, we'll
Yeah,
we'll get back to
that's
that.
another podcast.
Yeah.
A podcast for another time.
Okay, number 1.
Number 1. Here we go. So Bernie was number 2, previously ranked number 3, and number 1 is
Dun, dun,
Senator
dun.
Elizabeth Warren
I hate.
from Massachusetts.
You hate everyone, dude.
He liked Joe Biden.
1.
Yeah,
I like
one
How
Andrew
long
Yang,
is this? Okay, 2. How long is this
Pete,
list?
Buttigieg.
Buttigieg.
You
I
didn't say you
him.
liked him. You said you were okay.
I said I was
with-
okay with
You
him.
were okay
Yeah,
with him.
he's on the fence with him.
2.5 out of 15.
Yeah.
Hey, you know,
Senator
But
Elizabeth
every
Warren.
other one was, I hate this guy.
that's because they're all the same.
True. Well,
They
So
all
she's-
believe the same. They all.
they are all Democrats.
Yeah, she grew up in Oklahoma. Wow.
Okie. All right.
That's why she's Native American. You didn't know that? She says she was Native American.
Oh,
That's
right.
why Donald Trump called her Pocahontas. And then like they did like a DNA test, and she turns out to be like she has like some low percentage of American, and she's like all showing it like, I told you guys I'm Native American.
Doesn't like everyone in the United
Yeah.
States have like at least like a 5th or like
Yeah, so
0.5 Native American in them?
they're saying most Americans have like a little bit of Native American in them. That's
Yeah.
just how it works. And so it's like everybody in Mexico, like if you look far back enough, you're gonna have some Spanish in you from when they invaded Mexico,
Yeah.
or some French in you from when they invaded
We're,
Mexico.
we're from Spain.
Yeah, and so, but like it's so funny because like she was so proud of it, and then like after people were like, that's like literally everybody in the United States, she's like, oh well, then I'm sorry. It's just like, but she was so condescending with her apology, but people accepted it and were like, all right, move on. I like you, Elizabeth Warren.
Yeah, that's now.
And I think that's the only reason she's number 1 is because she's younger than Bernie Sanders. Because her ideas are as crazy, if not crazier, than Bernie Sanders. And I feel that's what like a lot of it is, especially with Democrats. It's like who has the crazier ideas and who's more like self-righteous in a sense,
Yeah.
Like, they believe they're more self-righteous. And Elizabeth Warren super believes she's self-righteous because she's a woman. Which
I
is
think-
like the dumbest thing to run on, but...
Yeah, you shouldn't play like a lot of these different cards to try to get more votes. Like I think that's kind of shady. Like, hey, I'm, like the whole talking in like Spanish. Like maybe that was good intentions, but it's like you're almost trying to pull a card.
Yeah.
And then with her like trying to pull like, oh, I'm a woman. Like it's great, you know, like it's nothing against having a woman female president, but you know, like don't flash it around like it's you should like if you don't vote for me it's because you don't like women. Or like flashing like, hey, I'm Hispanic or I'm African American, whatever. And it's like I just don't like when people like flash certain cards around to try to get like like the pity votes. Like, oh, you should totally vote for me because of this, because I'm this way or because I do this. And it's like, no, like I want to see what you actually believe in and then choose between the candidates for that reason.
Yeah, and like I feel a lot of I think you're absolutely right where I feel like a lot of people like playing cards, and I feel that's what Elizabeth Warren does the most out of all of them, because she's quick to go to that when she thought she was Native American. She was quick to go to that Native American card. She's quick to go to that female card. She's very Hillary Clinton 2.0. Like, you know, she's very, because Hillary Clinton was doing the same thing. Trump doesn't want me to win because I'm a girl, and Elizabeth Warren's gonna do the exact same thing. Trump can't handle me and my feminism. Like, you know, it's just like, why does that matter?
Yeah, you know, that shouldn't matter.
You know, it's funny. I just did just a quick search on Elizabeth Warren, and then the first thing that came up was that the entire Democratic Party calls for an impeachment of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh after a new misconduct allegation came out. That was 6 hours ago.
Yeah, and it was all led by her.
And it's a picture of her quoting her, "Kavanaugh should be impeached just like Trump."
Yeah, which is so dumb.
Yeah,
like,
that's...
Didn't they already vet him and everything? Like,
yeah.
It should be put to rest.
It sucks. If you hate it, it sucks. But like, oh well.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So we've concluded the top 15 as currently ranked by the Washington Post. We're transitioning over to something a little bit more lighthearted, which is getting Ernied. Oh, so, gosh. Abraham, can you explain the term getting Ernied?
Absolutely. So, my dad, his name is Ernesto, other known aliases, Neto, Ernie, and that's about it, I guess, right? Anyway,
Shine.
Shine, right?
I am shine.
So, in our circle of family, we have a term that we commonly refer to as being Ernied. So basically what that is that my dad uses you for his betterment. And he basically takes advantage of you so he doesn't have to do anything or something, right? My dad just finds some sort of bully tactic to get what he wants, and we refer to it as being Ernied, right? And so this happened actually Thursday night. I was in bed. It was 11:30. I was doing homework on my tablet or something like that. I don't know. I was just in my room.
Yeah.
And it was like 11:30, and then I get a phone call from my dad, and it was kind of strange because he usually gets home from work around 11:15, 11:20.
Yeah.
And he calls me, and I'm like, the first thing I thought of was like, okay, he probably needs a jump or something. He's at work, and he only works like 6 minutes down the road from our house, so it's not even that far. So he calls me and he says, "Hey, my coworker, I'm outside in the parking lot with him. His car doesn't start." He's like, "Do you have jumper cables?" I don't have jumper cables. He doesn't have jumper cables. Can you come over? I was like, "Yeah, sure. I don't mind." And I really didn't mind. I was like, "Cool."
And this was what time again?
11, like just after 11:30, like 11:32.
At night, right?
At night.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. 11:32 at night. So I was like, whatever. This is not the first time he's asked us to come pick him up or like something like that. You know what I mean? So I go to the school because my dad, he's like one of like the janitors for like the school and stuff like that. And he was working with his coworker. I get there and my dad, his truck is like teed to like his coworker's car, and like the hoods are up and stuff like that. And he's like, "Perfect." He's like, "Bring your jumper cables." So I was like, "Cool." So I go hook up the jumper cables, and his coworker, he was like an older like black guy. His name was Richard. Really nice guy. He was like 73, 72. He was telling me, he's like, "Man," he's like, "you young man, I don't work all these years and I'm strong. I can still work." And like, and he talked like that. He really, it was funny. Like he was like a real sweet guy. I'm not gonna lie. And he's like, "Thank you so much." He like massaged my shoulders. he was like,
"Yeah, whoa."
Yeah. And so, the jump didn't work on his car.
Yeah.
So it's something else, because like I noticed like he tried turning the key, and the lights in his car were on, but nothing was like turning over. And I was like, hey, it's not your battery, because if it was your battery, the lights and your dash wouldn't be turning on and stuff like that, you know? And so he goes, man, all right. He's like, but I got AAA. He's like, they'll come pick me up right now. So it's like, cool. So he calls AAA, and we're not going to leave without, you know, making sure he's going to be good, right?
Yeah.
And he calls AAA, and he's yelling at like the automated voice machine, trying to to get to like customer service, because he's 73, okay?
Yeah.
And so he finally gets put through, and the person tells him, well, it's gonna be about a 2.5 hour wait before the tow truck gets there. The guy hangs up. He doesn't even say anything. He's like 2.5 hours, and then just hangs up. And he's like, that's crazy. Can you believe 2.5 hours? And like, he's kind of like tripping because he just got off work. He just put in 8 hours. He's tired. It's 11 at this point, like 11:50 or so at night. And my dad was like, Richard, calm down. He's like, we got two options here. He's like, he's like, you know, we could wait here for 2.5 hours. He's like, that's not a problem, okay? Or my son can take you home.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, I look at my dad. I was like, I give him a look, right? And then he sees me giving him a look, and he goes, "It's okay." I'm like, "What?" I'm like, and then before I could even get a word out, Richard's like, "Oh, young man, that's so nice of you. I'd really appreciate that."
You're like, no.
So I'm like, I kind of have to at this point. So I was like, Richard, where do you live? And he's like, Arena Boulevard.
Holy crap.
So for people listening or probably aren't aware, this is all in South Sacramento. Arena Boulevard is in North Sacramento,
Like
which is
far
like
north.
literally like the complete opposite side of town.
Yeah.
Right. And so
At least it's only one freeway.
I was like, I'm just gonna get on 5. I was like, hop in the car, Richard. And so he goes, okay, cool. And he grabs the stuff, right? And then I'm talking to Richard for like maybe like a good like 30 something seconds. I'm trying to like, you know, get info where he lives and all that stuff. He goes to his car to like get his stuff. I turn around to like look at my dad or say something to him. He's in his car already leaving the parking lot. My dad was just gone. I was like, what the heck? And so I get in the car and I'm like, okay, Richard, where are we going? He's like, oh, we can go through 5, but there's construction going on. You can go through 99 and then you can switch to Interstate 50. And then I'm like, no, we're going through 5. That's it. There was no construction, thank God. So we get to Arena Boulevard. No, not even. No. We get to kind of where is it at? Northwest El Camino? Or West El Camino?
Yeah.
And he's like, I want to see where you gonna take me, because he's like, you're the chauffeur, you're the driver. He's like, I want to see, you know, how you gonna get there. I'm like, I don't know how to get there, Richard. It's your house. I've never been there. And then he's like, well, you can take what's it called? He's like, you can take Truxell and go down. So in order to get to Truxell, you have to go switch freeways, and because I could have gone straight, right? So, but he's like, go to Truxell, switch freeways to get off on this road. This dude lied, first of all. He didn't live off Arena Boulevard. He lived, like, dude, damn near Alberta.
Holy crap, that's hecka far.
Dude, so...
I mean, Arena Boulevard... No, does the arena hit Alberta? It doesn't, right?
Mm-mm. He just said Arena Boulevard, right? So, do you know where Alberta is?
Alberta, no.
It's, like, deep, like, Natomas, to the point where it's not even Natomas anymore.
Yeah, that's, like, basically Rio Linda.
Yeah.
That's far.
So how long was the trip?
Alberta, not Alberta. Alberta. Yeah, look it up. So anyways, and he makes me get off on Truxell when I could have gotten off on Del Paso.
Yeah, that would have been make way more sense.
But he just wanted to go cruise, I guess.
He wanted you to gave him a little ride, you know?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, so I get off on Truxell and I take this dude like all the way down to where he lives. And then, but you know what? To my shock, he lived in a really, really nice neighborhood. You know where the Coles is at, like kind of by Intercom. So in that area, like those really nice houses behind it, but like probably like 5 lights past it. Yeah.
And, that means he's on Section 8.
Yeah. Well,
those houses, every other house is Section 8 housing.
Is it?
Yeah.
It was a really nice house.
Yeah,
it's like a really nice neighborhood. And
that's what I tell.
And then he was telling me too. He's like, "There's a clubhouse here. There's like you can there's a gym there. You can go swimming and stuff like that. And I was like, dang, dude, how would I move out here? I was like, there's hecka nice stuff. And then, so anyways, at this point, it's like, dude, at this point, it's like $12.40 or something. I'm like, jeez. I was like, I'm going to go home. I'm going to be like, Dad, what the heck? I get home. I go to my parents. That dude's asleep. Yeah. He does not care.
No, he doesn't.
And I walk to my room. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. I was like, I just got Ernied.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I just got Ernied, man.
That's great. That's hecka far. Like,
yeah.
Dude, and like those houses are like whenever every other house, or it's like every 3 houses or something like that is Section 8 housing. So you see a lot of like, like people. It's like, what? How are you living out here? Like, how can you afford this?
Yeah, I mean, I know you've spent a lot of time with my dad too. Do you have an Ernied story?
You know what? I don't know if I've had a actual experience like that. I think the one that gets the most experiences like that was my brother. Where like when they go on like those trips, and they would suddenly like. He would pull an Ernie or whatever, but I don't know. I'm trying to think of one.
I will say the whole church got Ernied one time because he stood up one time in a meeting and he's like, hey, I'm going to paint this church. And everyone's like, that sounds great. I'm going to pay for everything. You guys don't have to worry about nothing. Then one day he's like, hey, when do you guys have like a Sunday free? I'm like, for what? He's like, so we can paint the church. So I'm like, all right, your dad didn't do nothing that day. And then you know what? They asked for money because the church ended up having to pay for like half.
Yeah.
And it's just like, the church needed it, don't get me wrong. But or else we never would have found out the roof was all
messed up.
Yeah.
I remember he stands up in the meeting and he's like, you know what? He's like, I'm going to take this upon myself. I'm going to paint this church, right? Like, just very valiant.
Yeah.
Like,
it was like,
the hero.
Like basically a crab.
Yeah, right? And then, like, that same day, he's like, so when are you free? When can you do it? Like, to me. I was like, what? I was like, I work full time. I go to school full time. I don't even have Sundays free sometimes.
Yeah,
man.
That's true.
And then he's like, oh, we'll figure it out. Like, AKA, you're gonna figure it out.
That's true. I won't forget. Yeah, that was a big. He earned a bunch of people.
He earned everyone.
And then he got
Ernied. Yeah, that's what I say. Like, that dude got Ernied big time. Yeah, I know you get paid for this, but do it for free for me.
I know, because he's a professional painter. We have someone in our church that's a professional actual painter. And so my dad Ernied him. Got him.
Now, I'm pretty sure that's not going to be the last time we get Ernied either.
No.
But anyways, we're kind of running out of time. Let's just really quick talk about the last story. It's a really quick one that ends up being a little lighthearted.
Yeah.
And if you've ever seen Pokemon, like one of the biggest things about me growing up too was Pokemon the cartoon, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing like I had just found out, and like I stopped watching it, of course, like back in like 2000, 2002 probably.
It's been
11,
while.
12.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say I stopped watching it. And the thing is, recently this past week, Ash Ketchum, who's the main character of the whole Pokemon series. Now, Pokemon's been running for, it says 22 years. And for the first time in 22 years, he's actually won the championship of Pokemon.
Yeah, dude, when you told me that, I was like mind blown. I was like, what do you mean he just won? At first, I was like, when you said Ash Ketchum, I was thinking of like Ashton Kutcher for some reason. And I was like, what does he have to do with the Pokemon League? Yeah. And then I was like, no way, that dude.
Yeah, and like it's because I remember in I watched the original series, and he does come in like 3rd place in that series. He loses in like the semifinals or whatever. And so I was like, oh, he'll win eventually. And then I stopped watching it.
Yeah.
And then right now, an article popped up earlier today where I was like, oh, for the first time in 22 years, Ash Ketchum's like finally won. And so I went through the article. This is on Crunchyroll, and they talk about every league that he's participated in because it's like different regions is different league.
Yeah.
Like he's always coming like 3rd or 2nd. Like I think his worst was like 4th, which he's gotten like twice, and then his best is 2nd, which he's got once.
Dang, Ash Ketchum sucks.
Yeah, like, and so that's why I'm saying, like, dude, people have been following this kid for 22 years just to never win.
Dude, Gary was right about him. He's a loser.
No wonder. And that was mind blowing. Like, I was like, how the heck do you not win, Ash? Like,
I think they prolonged that though, because like I think the way they justified keeping the show going for so long was that he always had to win it, or that was always his
drive.
Thing. Like, yeah, he always had the drive and determination to be the Pokemon master. So if he ever won the championship, like it would then I guess.
So you think that's it? Like now that it's
ceased, I don't know.
This season supposedly was the worst season viewer wise. It still did really good.
It's still going. It's surprising to me.
Pokemon is still like a super huge franchise.
Yeah.
And So it's like I wouldn't be surprised if it does keep going, but they might have like just set it up so like it's gonna end soon type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man. Well, I think that's it for today, huh?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm Josue once again.
And I'm Abraham once again.
Junior.
And thanks for watching or listening.
Yeah, later, everyone.